Hi, and welcome to the first episode of ASU-TV's Real Talk, your new stop for movie reviews and news on campus. I'm Caleb Silvey.
And I'm Adeeja Anderson, and now it's time to get real.
With Halloween right around the corner, it's no wonder that Hollywood is coming out with more fantasy films, and the next one to release is Dracula Untold. Dracula Untold tells the origin of Dracula in a way that incorporates the history of Vlad the Impaler and Bram Stoker's original tale. The film is directed by first-time director Gary Shore and stars Luke Evans as Dracula, along with co-stars Dominic Cooper and Sarah Gordon. Unlike previous Dracula films, this film explores the history of Prince Vlad Tepes, also known as Vlad the Impaler. In 1462, Vlad's kingdom is threatened by war, so he gives up his humanity to save his friend, family, and his Transylvanian kingdom. This film was produced through Universal Pictures, famously known for its series of excellent monster films in the past. In fact, it was the first studio to adapt the character of Dracula on screen. The popularity of vampire flicks has grown over the years, but this one may surprise you. According to production notes, the origins of this Dracula film are origins that have never been depicted on screen before, with a fresh take on the iconic figure of darkness. This film features top-of-the-line crew members, including Captain Phillips producer Michael DeLuca and Amazing Spider-Man cinematographer John Schwartzman. Reviews for this film so far have been mixed, but we're hoping for a nice surprise come release. Dracula Untold is set to release in October, so check it out if you've been waiting for a new monster flick to enjoy.
Continuing the trend of recent book adapted movies, The Maze Runner came out last September, directed by Wes Ball, and adapted from the book written by James Dashner. The movie stars Dylan O'Brien as Thomas alongside Amal Amon and Thomas Sangster. Maze Runner centers around the story of Thomas, who wakes up in a mysterious glade with other boys his age, and absolutely no recollection of his past whatsoever. He soon learns from glade leader Albie and his second-in-command Newt that they are all trapped there, with their only possible of escape being through the huge, extremely dangerous maze. A series of strange events begin to unfold shortly after Thomas' arrival, which challenge the Gladers' way of life and their chances of survival. The threat of this mysterious beast, the Grievers, and unknown outside force threaten to change their lives forever, leaving only Thomas to find a way out. The film is full of superb acting from all of the up-and-coming stars. All of their emotions and reactions are believable and will bring moviegoers back to how they felt when they read the book. Okay, the shining star of this movie is the incredible musical score, which both captivates and terrifies viewers at the same time. Okay, moviegoers will find it impossible to anticipate what is around each corner of the maze. The one drawback, though, would be the pacing of the film. It feels a bit off at times. Okay, it takes place over the course of only a few days, but the time can feel confusing because of the constant flow of action. It earns the Real Talk rating of 7 out of 10 stars. Lovers of both the Hunger Games and Divergent series will find this movie both enjoyable and admittedly a bit stressful in the best sort of way. Now we have The Judge, the new drama, which was released in theaters October the 10th. This new drama, directed by David Dobkin, stars Robert Downey Jr. as Hank Palmer, a successful lawyer in Chicago, and Robert Duvall as Hank's father, Judge Joseph Palmer. In The Judge, Hank Palmer leaves in the middle of a big case to go back to his hometown after hearing of the death of his mother. After being away for 20 years, his family relationships aren't so great, especially with his father, the judge of the town. Sometime after the funeral, the judge is taken into custody of suspicion of murder after the suspect of an old case of Judge Palmer is found dead from a hit and run. Okay, Hank picks up his father's case, and the film goes from there delving into the complicated relationship between Hank and his father while fighting for the judge's life. It's a solid flick, but there could have been much more deeper development throughout the film with some of the characters and the side storyline. However, it hits its strongest points through the conflict between Hank and the judge, which provides some tear-jerking moments in his courtroom scenes that look beautiful on screen. The director used a very clever blend of shots and lighting that added to the atmosphere of the movie as a whole. The judge ends up with a real talk, drumroll please, rating of 7 out of 10. It has a good story and good characters, but there was still room for improvement with its supporting characters and certain plot points in the film. I wouldn't label it as a must-see, but it's a solid film. If you do go watch it, make sure you have some tissues handy and available, okay? Did you cry?
A little bit.
Oh, gosh. Okay, well.
All right. In recent years, Liam Neeson has risen as one of the top names in action movie, the genre of action movies. And he hasn't stopped yet. Written and directed by Scott Frank and based on the best-selling novel by Lawrence Block, A Walk Among Tombstones hit theaters in September, and it's still buzzing. In this mysterious thriller, Liam Neeson plays Matthew Scudder, a retired former alcoholic police officer who turned to private investigation when a shooting of his went horribly wrong. Scudder explains to his clients in the movie that he does favors for people. In return, they give him gifts. When he is hired by the drug dealer brother of a fellow AA member to hunt down the men who killed his wife, even though he paid the ransom, Scudder searches for the villains while inadvertently taking a teenage boy, TJ, under his wing as a detective and employing the help of a uber creepy cemetery groundskeeper. Together, after the discovery of another, more recent murder, the three begin their hunt for the deadly duo, played by David Harbour and Adam David Thompson, who have been targeting the families of criminals for their murders so as not to get the police involved. As far as details go, the 1990s setting has little impact on the plot, except for the reference to the impending Y2K scare. And some scenes are a bit too busy to really understand what's actually going on. The color scheme for the film, however, lends itself well to the overall gloominess of the content. And the semi-sketchy neighborhoods and positively sketchy cemetery really do well to add to the appeal to emotion the movie tries to portray. Some scenes and actions have fallen short compared to some of Neeson's other work, including the famous Taken films, leaving some viewers asking for just a bit more. As a general consistency, though, A Walk Among Tombstones is a pretty decent, straightforward thriller, coming in with a real talk rating of 6 out of 10. Now don't go away. Up next, the highly anticipated Gone Girl and the first edition of Rad Reels of the Week. We'll be right back on Real Talk.
Welcome back to Real Talk. Now let's get back to business, okay? David Fincher continued his long-standing trend of keeping his audience members both tense and entertained with his new movie, Gone Girl, adapted from the best-selling novel by Gillian Flynn. Gone Girl stars Ben Affleck and Rosamund Pike as Nick and Amy Dunn, two married out-of-work writers living in Missouri. Being a native to the area, Nick worked as a local bar owner, while Amy lives as a stay-at-home wife, whose past life loosely modeled the Amazing Amy children's book series written by her parents. The intrigue begins on the 5th anniversary of the two lovers, when Nick comes home from work to discover the disappearance of his dearly beloved wife. Okay, it gets good right here. As the story progresses, we slowly start to see the true colors of their grumbling marriage before the incident, as well as seeing the public's reactions to Nick Dunn and his possible involvement with his wife's abduction. This movie demonstrates just how much a failing marriage can affect one's life and the lives of others. Like his other movies, director David Fincher presents a movie filled with both information and disinformation that keeps the characters questioning alongside with the audience. The tone of the movie is helped set by the stirring soundtrack created by Trent Reznor, the frontman of Nine Inch Nails, and Atticus Ross, who have both worked with Fincher before to create this signature sound. Totally makes sense, right? The performances from Ben Affleck and Pike are some of the best this year. But among the cast, the actor who stands out the most is the unexpected comedian Tyler Perry. He brings both intelligence and wit to the screen as a renowned lawyer who helps with the investigation. This movie stays true to the original book, yes, and will remain as a positive staple in the careers of all contributors to this sensational movie. We're happy to give you this movie a Real Talk rating of 9 out of 10. You know this is going to be high. If you got some time to burn, I highly recommend giving this film a shot.
All right, now on to our new segment, where each of us picks a movie we believe is worthy of a recommendation for you, our audience. This film could be a recent release or a movie made years ago that you may have overlooked. Now here are our rad reels of the week. Now, Adeeja, why don't you start us off?
Okay, all right. Well, I would totally recommend The Equalizer, I'm just saying. Okay, it's action-packed, and it stars Denzel Washington, and the movie actually takes after the TV series, the 1980 TV series. We weren't born yet, but I mean, hey. So the movie is so good, I'm telling you. And usually when movies are based off like books, in this case a TV series, people are like, oh my gosh, the movie was horrible, don't go see it, stick to the original. But it was so awesome. Let me tell you about Denzel Washington. He plays a former commando who basically fakes his own death. You know, he wants to live a quiet life, lay low, but then he ends up rescuing Terry, who was played by Chloe Grace Moretz. And then he finds himself like basically fighting a bunch of Russian gangsters. So I totally recommend go seeing it like right after this TV show is done. Go buy a ticket, go see it. Awesome. How about you?
Sounds
what would you
amazing.
recommend?
For my rad reel, I have chosen the excellent Guardians of the Galaxy. Now, you may be thinking, you know, Marvel's come out with all these superhero movies, and, you know, some of them are okay, but seriously, it's amazing. Even if you're not into superheroes, which, I mean, I can't say that I'm not, but still, even for those that aren't really into the Marvel and DC and all of that, it's just an amazing film, amazing action film, and amazing comedy action, I should say. And you've got top-of-the-line actors. You got Chris Pratt, you got Bradley Cooper, Vin Diesel, who are playing very unusual characters, a raccoon and a talking tree, basically. But still,
It's awesome.
despite all that, it is just amazing soundtrack, amazing 80s rock soundtrack, I should say, and just outstanding cast, fun, funny, action-packed story. It's just all-around great movie. You should definitely check it out. Well, that's it for our first edition of Real Talk. Thanks to all our producers, crew, and the A-State Film Society for helping us make this happen. From the ASU-TV studio, I'm Caleb Silvey.
And I'm Adeeja Anderson. Good night, and keep it real.